Welcome to the Goalie Mindset Podcast. My name is Pete Fry, the Goalie Mindset Guy, and my purpose is to help goalies have a dominating goalie career. Pete Fry, the Goalie Mindset Guy here. I have on here today the legendary Kent Manderville. Kent, I got to shake hands left hand because of my shoulder. I am so excited. You came to my house, to the studio. I am honored to have you here.
Love it.
Kent played over 600 games in the National Hockey League. And there's my dog saying hi. If you guys can hear him. Yeah, you guys may not be able to hear Turner, but Turner gave Kent a great greeting. I'm sure you'll see it in the video. And silver medal in the Olympics as well too. And I'm going to start off real quickly. What's the number one thing in your career you're most proud of? Like if you could just pick one thing.
I think it's the Olympics. Really? I remember watching the Olympics back in, it was 1984. They were in Sarajevo and seeing that and being like, representing your country, representing Canada on the international stage. Mm-hmm. Like for whatever reason, I would have been 13 back then and 12, 13. Yeah. And that was it. So for me,
it was the Olympics.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Do you remember watching the Miracle on Ice too, the 1980? Does that or not? Because you would have been 9, 8 or 9.
Yeah, I was 8. Yeah, exactly. So I was 9 at that time. Personally, like that was a tough go. My dad died actually in February of that year.
Oh, sorry.
So we were going through a lot of stuff like that. But I mean, back then we lived in small town Alberta in Redwater, so wasn't even aware. Like we were kind of on our own world.
Wow.
But, we didn't have the.
Got it. Okay. I just put my Zoom on. Do not disturb. Oh, decline. It's on do not disturb. Perfect. Okay. So. Wow. And can I ask you about you losing your dad?
Yeah.
But sure. Because I had a tragedy when I was young. Like I lost my sister's husband and her little baby. Oh. And that was very hard to go through.
Yeah.
Yet I think it somehow inspired me.
Yeah.
Right. Like they say, like there's been studies on people that do great things like yourself and that they face some type of tragedy early on sometimes.
Yeah. I think the full credit goes to my mom, quite frankly, because she was late 30s and she raised 3 kids. We were 8, 11, and 13. Yeah. So you see the strength of her. And I think to your point, she was able to give me opportunities. I went to Notre Dame. We moved to Victoria after my dad passed. But you see the strength of her character and she's always been super supportive. I remember she came to the World Juniors in Saskatoon. She came out to the Olympics, and she's never, would never push.
Yeah,
it was always, giving me the opportunities. And I think, as we know as parents too, that's all you could ever do. But yeah, I mean, it's a credit to her really for everything too.
Mm-hmm. So. Wow. So did you work your dad into your why? People have a why behind what they do.
Well, my dad, there's no question it was an influence, right? And we spoke before we started chatting on this podcast about alcohol, and my dad was an alcoholic and that affected things. But you know what? I mean, it wasn't him, it was the disease. And I think that really helped me growing up to see how something like that, you go down the wrong path. And so that actually kept me right on the straight and narrow. And I think that was really helpful. But I think just, we are a product of our experiences, good and bad. And that was obviously a tough go. But like I said, my mom, my brother, my sister, they've all been incredibly supportive. So
awesome.
It's been quite the journey.
Yes, well, you've accomplished phenomenal things. What a journey! And let's skip now to what you do now. Yeah, because I know we are not taught in school how to handle finances, like all the key things. I think, and education is important. Yet there's a lot of things that we're not taught in school, and finances is one of them. And I know that you now work with athletes, specifically hockey players, on how to direct their finances in a way that's going to benefit them, as opposed to, and I'm not saying it correctly, you can
Yeah.
say exactly what you do. But I can go through examples of myself when I had my first business, and my goal for my business after a year was to own a new Corvette. Like it was like such a dumb goal because it was the extra money from the business I was putting into owning a vehicle, which is a depreciating asset, as opposed to how about I take that and I invest that every month.
Yeah.
And anyways, I think I was what's called looking good, going nowhere, right? And you can see that a lot. So tell us about what you do. Tell us about what you do.
Yeah, well, I think, going back to my mom too, as a single parent, you see how I remember my mom would track her expenses, and I went to Notre Dame, and she had to make sacrifices for me to go there. And going to Cornell, there's no scholarships to Ivy League schools. So again, sacrifices. So I think being a saver was ingrained in me.
Yeah.
And so essentially just what you said, I know what it's like to sign that contract, you get the money. And especially at a young age, it's so critical when you're helping guys, is putting it into perspective. Yeah. And it's, even on an entry level deal, if you think after escrow, after tax, after paying your agents, after paying, you're living in some expensive cities like New York or San Jose. Surprisingly, it's like $1 million or 850 it goes down quickly. And if you play a few years, people have the expectation that, of course, you're making all this money.
Yep.
But when you look at the expenses and what you have to go through to make that, and now, of course, there's guys that'll make, 50, 60, whatever millions of dollars. But even then, you still like, so we help guys as far as a lot of times in the entry level, it's more about cash flow management, knowing where your money goes, be intentional with it. So, you may value something and somebody is, like a car.
Yep.
So do you need to get the $150,000 car, or it's so much easier to go up in your spending versus going down. So that's where we always talk about, like, I know you have money in the bank, and then we talk about the bucket system where we put money for long-term, like you say, growth. So we help on the investment side, but a lot of it is cash flow, tax planning. We even, and it's funny because the guys look at me like, estate planning. I was in Carolina, and a teammate passed away.
Oh, I remember that.
Steve Chase.
Yeah.
And so it's not like you just want to plan for the worst. And it's like getting ready for a season. It's getting ready for a game. We're just doing the preparation in advance, and it's getting them in the right mindset. So a lot of times it's really keeping them out of big purchases. But the guys I work with, they're great. They're engaged. They're motivated. They look, and I always tell them, you put so much time and effort into your career. Well, let's make the most of the money you make from your career. Like, you want to just transition the wealth, and we want to create, like you said, long-term growth, whether it's real estate, whether it's investments, set them up for after hockey. And a lot of times then we're thinking, what do you want to do after hockey? Because I don't care how much money you have. What's your purpose after hockey? So we have those conversations too. So it's a lot of it's guided from my own experience, what I went through, but also, having, former players as clients and that sort of thing, and being in tune with the industry. So, and it's complicated, right? You have cross-border, you have multiple currencies, you have different tax jurisdictions, different rules and regulations. So it's needed, it's a niche, but it's been a lot of fun too.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things that comes to my mind is you hear these stories every once in a while about a basketball player who made, $100 million a year, $50 million a year going bankrupt.
Yeah.
Right.
So exactly. You're like, how could it be, and again, you strip it back. Cash flow, where's your money going? And a lot of it, it's the advisor is crooked, the players. Yeah.
Like back in the day, the whole, like the Alan Eagleson and.
Well, that's even with the union, but that, like, just, there's, fraud out there for some guys trusting the wrong person. Guys putting money in golf courses in Mexico, like things that you're just like, you've already won, essentially you've won the lottery. You're playing in the NHL. Know where your money goes, stick to quality assets, whether it's stock market, whether it's real estate, just be mindful of where the money's going. But like you said, long-term growth, and you really want to paint that picture for them. So then they're like, okay, they get it. And they're smart guys. And I don't care if you played college, if you went junior route, you're from Europe, it doesn't matter. Guys understand it. And because they work so hard for their career, it's really, okay, let's take care of this because this is super important. This is the payoff.
Yeah, makes sense. Also, and what you're saying there about quality assets, like Warren Buffett said to me, you sound like Warren Buffett when you say that, which is powerful, right? Because it's just, invest in things that are going to go up. Maybe they're not going to skyrocket up, but over time.
Absolutely.
And it's the compound effect.
People will be thinking, oh, what's the economy? Are we going into a recession? What's inflation? And you're like, you know what? I get it. You can turn yourself into a pretzel with that. But again, it's understanding cash flows.
Yeah.
Long-term money you commit, quality assets, and exactly that. Compounding. And I tell guys, my best investment was buying Royal Bank. And Royal Bank, back then it was, the split adjusted, it was like $7 a share. And now it's over $100 a share. And the dividends keep coming.
Yeah.
And it's like getting a rent payment. And you're essentially creating your own pension.
Yes.
And so, you just have to, nobody told me this. I had to read it. I had to talk to the right people. But that's what I'm, able to impart upon the guys, and they get it. And it's been a lot of fun.
That's huge. That's huge. Powerful. What's the number one biggest advice you would give to let's say, to a hockey player? He has just been drafted. He's just about to sign a contract. Financial advice. What's the biggest financial advice you would give to that goaltender or hockey player?
You know what? The one thing I would say is treat yourself. Take advantage. You want to treat yourself. You don't want to live like a monk. So treat yourself, but within certain limits, like you said about a car. You don't need to get the big splashy car, but treat yourself to something nice, and then understand where your money goes, and that you want to be more conservative with it early on, because you don't know. And I remember, my mom's like, you never know how long you're going to play. Oh, my mom, I'm going to
play forever.
I'm going to. But I think it's prudent. Don't take excessive risks with the money. So treat yourself, know where your money goes, and no need to take excessive risks with your money. So if you think about, back a few years ago, cannabis stocks.
Yes, that was a big thing.
Trends, trying to find the hot thing, Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies. You don't need to get into that. That's gambling. It's like going to a casino. Stick to quality.
Stay out of casinos too. That's some advice. Stay out of casinos.
There's a reason. We'd say there's a reason why they're so nice. Right? It's not like they're losing money. That's why. So
stay out of casinos 100%. Yeah, it's crazy because it can become an addiction for some guys.
Oh, absolutely.
Gambling there, right?
Yeah. Well, you can't watch a hockey game now without.
I know.
Gambling. Yeah. So
wow.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. But that's my advice. Don't treat yourself, but know where your money goes and don't take excessive risks.
What's your number one favorite money book, maybe a short read that you would recommend that they read? I have one in my head.
What's yours?
Mine is
I've read too many times, but
Richest Man in Babylon.
You know what? People have talked about that. I have not read that yet. You'd recommend it.
Because it's an easy read. It's short. I like short books. So it's a simple read. And it just talks about having percentages go to this, whether it's a percentage to charity, percentage to what you're paying yourself. And it's just, they say, if you're not going to give
a third.
Something similar to that, but it makes it easy. It's something that I can calculate. I had a few concussions when I played, but I can really calculate that up. Simply.
Okay. I like The Psychology of Money, and I think it's Martin Husel, but The Psychology of Money is really good because it talks about the compounding effect. It talks about understanding cash flows, about taxes and that, but it's more the mindset. And I think that's what you're talking about too. Even as a business owner, because in my firm, we're not just about professional athletes. We deal with a lot of business owners too. That's our core focus. But business owners understand the principles of the compounding and the growth in that. And that's one thing that hockey players, it's more education on that. They don't get that. It's more like a lottery winner, where somebody's like, here's a bunch of money, here you go. And so business owners understand those principles, and hockey players, it's a matter of just going through them and teaching them, because exactly what you said, we're not taught that in school. So that's one area that's really important that you got to hit. But psychology of money is one. And then another one that I do like is, and it's funny because John Bogle on mutual funds. So this is way back in the day, it'd be hard to find, but John Bogle started Vanguard.
Okay.
And he was really just about, being in the market and capturing the market. And so, but the psychology of money is the best one.
Okay.
I would say go with that.
And any specific movie you would recommend for someone to watch regarding finances? Just came to me, that question. I
like it. It's what's that? Well, I like Moneyball because that's a sports.
Yeah, it is. That's really
got
good.
Nothing to do with finances. But the one, The Big Short.
Oh, The Big Short. Yeah,
I like that, and it's funny because we lived in the U.S. We sold our place in 2003, and I remember this is when I played in Philly. It was in South Jersey, but the prices were ridiculous, and we were thinking, oh, should we keep it? And I'm glad we sold it when we did.
Mm-hmm.
But being down there and witnessing the price appreciation and the craziness, but The Big Short shows how Wall Street is kind of geared against you, right?
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
And they package these things, and that's why, you reference Warren Buffett. He's managed to go around that, and again, stick to quality, stick with what but The Big Short is a good one.
Okay, that is awesome. I have something I want to present to you before you go there. I'm just going to grab it, so I got to go off screen here. I'll be right back. A couple of minutes.
And I'll just be sipping my coffee here.
There we go. Okay, now I know you're not a goaltender yet. I got a hat from one of my seminars.
Oh, I like it.
You don't have to wear it. I don't know if you're a hacker. You don't have to put it on now.
No way. It's like I just got drafted.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Like, hey,
yeah,
I didn't even go to my draft. This is my draft. There you go.
Goalie Mindset Power hat. There you go. And one of my books, this is for non-athletes, but for anyone, Magnetic Mindset Secrets.
Love it.
So
thank you very much.
Now, the whole purpose of that book is that a piece of steel, when it's magnetized, it can lift 12 times its weight. And when we're magnetized, I believe we play 12 times as great.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And so if we're feeling good, we're positive.
Yeah.
As soon as we get a little bit demagnetized, the action slows down. I think the key is action. Absolutely. And so by being magnetized, we take the most action. So it's a really good, simple read. There's lots of good stories in there of NHL players and things like that.
Okay. Thank you very much. I
look
forward to this. This is good.
Kent, great to have you on, my friend.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Legendary Kent Manderville. Listen, I know Kent's not a goalie. We'll forgive him for not being a goaltender.
I tried and it was horrible.
Yet this is valuable advice. The whole, you guys, and if you're a 12-year-old goaltender and you're watching this is still key for you. This is because eventually this is going to be something that you're going to need to do with your finances. Why not have it start to percolate now in your mind? So, Kent, thanks for coming on, my friend.
Thanks for having me. This is great.
Now we're going to do a barefoot. Kent chose. I gave him 4 options. Number 1 was to eat some raw heart. Number 2 was to do a glass walk. 3 was a board break. And number 4 is to do a barefoot. We're going to do a short barefoot hike. So we'll see you guys out in the field there for a short barefoot hike.
Awesome.
Thanks, Kent. Pete Fry, the Goalie Mindset guy. Goalie Mindset podcast. Stay great.